The Fire Within Jackson's Journey. In the small village of Kibwezi, nestled between the rolling hills of Kenya, lived a boy named Jackson Mwangi. At 12 years old, his eyes held a fire that burned brighter than the kerosene lamps that flickered in his family's mud-walled home. While other children played with handmade toys from bottle caps and wire, Jackson's fingers traced chemical formulas he had copied from a torn chemistry textbook he found at the local market. His father, Samuel, was a subsistence farmer whose weathered hands told stories of countless seasons fighting drought and unpredictable rains. His mother, Grace, sold vegetables at the roadside market, her melodious voice calling out prices that barely covered the family's daily meals. Education seemed like a luxury they couldn't afford. "Papa," Jackson said one evening as the family sat around their small fire, "I want to study chemistry and engineering." Samuel's laugh was not unkind, but it carried the weight of reality. "My son, we can barely afford school fees for primary education. How can you dream of university?" But Jackson's dream refused to die. Every morning at 4:30 a.m., Jackson would wake before the roosters crowed. While darkness still blanketed the village, he would walk 3 kilometers to fetch water from the nearest well, his bare feet navigating the rocky path by memory. By 6 a.m., he was helping his mother prepare breakfast before the 7-kilometer journey to school. The Kibwezi Primary School was a simple structure: 4 concrete walls, a rusty iron roof, and windows without glass. 42 students crowded into Jackson's classroom, sharing outdated textbooks and writing with pencil stubs on whatever paper they could find. But Jackson absorbed every lesson like dry earth drinks the first drops of rain. His teacher, Mr. Kamau, noticed Jackson's exceptional aptitude for mathematics and science. "This boy has a special gift," he told Grace one parent meeting day, "but he needs better opportunities." When Jackson finished primary school with the highest marks in his district, Mr. Kamau helped him secure a partial scholarship to a secondary school in Nairobi. But the scholarship only covered tuition, not books, uniforms, or boarding fees. To make Jackson's education possible, the entire Mwangi family sacrificed. Samuel sold their only cow, the one that provided milk for the family. Grace worked double shifts at the market, often going without lunch to save money. Jackson's younger sister, Mary, wore the same dress to school for 2 years. In Nairobi, Jackson lived in a tiny rented room with 5 other boys from rural areas. They slept on thin mattresses on the floor and cooked ugali on a single burner. Jackson worked weekends washing dishes at a local restaurant, sending his meager earnings home to help his family. Despite the hardships, Jackson excelled. He spent every free moment in the school library, devouring chemistry and mathematics books. When the library closed, he studied under streetlights, ignoring the curious stares of passers-by. One particularly difficult month, when his family couldn't send money for food, Jackson survived on 1 meal a day for 3 weeks. His roommates shared what little they had, but everyone was struggling. It was during this time that Jackson met Brother Francis, an Irish missionary who ran a small foundation supporting bright students. "I see something special in you, young man," Brother Francis said after Jackson approached him for help. "But I need to know, are you studying for yourself or for your community?" Jackson's answer came from his heart. "Sir, I want to become an engineer so I can help solve problems in my village, clean water, better farming methods, maybe even a small factory to create jobs. Education is not just for me, it's for everyone who believed in me." Brother Francis's foundation provided Jackson with a scholarship to the University of Nairobi to study chemical and process engineering. Walking through the university gates for the first time, Jackson felt the weight of his entire village's hopes on his shoulders. University life brought new challenges. Jackson's classmates came from wealthy families with cars, laptops, and designer clothes. He had 1 pair of shoes, 3 shirts, and a determination that burned like a furnace. While his classmates socialized in expensive cafes, Jackson worked part-time jobs, tutoring high school students, cleaning laboratories, and doing data entry. His professor, Dr. Sarah Oching, became a mentor. She recognized Jackson's brilliance and offered him research opportunities. "You have an intuitive understanding of chemical processes that can't be taught," she told him during his 3rd year. "You see solutions where others see problems." Jackson's final year project, focused on developing low-cost water purification systems for rural communities, a problem close to his heart. His innovation used locally available materials and simple processes that village communities could maintain themselves. The project won the university's Best Engineering Project Award. But as graduation approached, Jackson faced a harsh reality. Despite his excellent grades and innovative mind, job opportunities were scarce. Armed with his degree and burning ambition, Jackson applied to dozens of engineering positions. The responses were consistent. We need someone with 5 years of experience, or the position has been filled internally, or simply no response at all. Months stretched into a year. Jackson moved back to his family's village, his degree certificate carefully wrapped in plastic but feeling increasingly worthless. The whispers in the village were cruel. "See, we told you education is a waste of time. Samuel should have taught his son farming instead." But Jackson refused to give up. During his job search, he noticed something interesting in the local markets. Traders were making good money buying and selling agricultural products, but they lacked the analytical skills to optimize their operations. Most traders relied on intuition and luck, rather than data and planning. Jackson began helping local farmers analyze soil samples and optimize their crop yields using his chemistry knowledge. Word spread quickly about the educated boy who can make crops grow better. Farmers started paying him small amounts for consultations, and Jackson began to see a different path forward. "If I can't find a job as an engineer," Jackson told his father, "I'll create one by becoming a trader, but I'll be different. I'll use science to trade smarter." With 50,000 Kenyan shillings borrowed from a local savings group, his mother's reputation as a reliable market woman helped secure the loan. Jackson began trading in agricultural products, but he applied his engineering mindset to every aspect of the business. He analyzed price patterns, studied supply chains, and used his chemistry knowledge to assess product quality better than traditional traders. When buying maize, Jackson could determine moisture content by simple tests, allowing him to negotiate better prices. He understood which fertilizers worked best for different soil types and could advise farmers, creating loyal supplier relationships. Jackson's first big break came during a maize shortage. While other traders panicked, Jackson had been tracking weather patterns and agricultural data. He had stockpiled maize 3 months earlier when prices were low, correctly predicting the shortage. His scientific approach to market analysis paid off handsomely. As Jackson's trading business grew, he never forgot his engineering dreams. He reinvested profits into agricultural technology, importing small-scale processing equipment that helped local farmers add value to their crops. His compound became a hub of innovation, part trading post, part agricultural consultancy, part engineering workshop. One day, as Jackson was demonstrating a small-scale maize dryer to local farmers, a visitor arrived. Dr. James Mwangi from the Kenya Agricultural Research Institute had heard about the trader engineer who was revolutionizing agriculture in Kibwezi. "Young man," Dr. Mwangi said after watching Jackson explain the scientific principles behind crop drying, "I have a proposition. We need someone who understands both the science and the business of agriculture. Would you consider joining our team as an agricultural process engineer?" Jackson's hands trembled as he held the job offer letter. After 5 years of struggle, his engineering career was finally beginning. But he had learned something valuable during his trading years. Sometimes the path to your dreams isn't straight, and sometimes Plan B leads to something even better than Plan A. He negotiated to work part-time with the Research Institute while maintaining his trading business. This unique combination gave him insights that neither traditional engineers nor typical traders possessed. Five years later, Jackson Mwangi had become one of Kenya's most successful agricultural entrepreneurs. His trading company employed over 200 people and his innovations had improved the livelihoods of thousands of small-scale farmers. He had patents on 3 agricultural processing technologies and was frequently invited to speak at international conferences. But success hadn't changed Jackson's heart. He established the Grace and Samuel Foundation, named after his parents, to provide scholarships for rural students. The foundation's motto was simple: every child's dream deserves a chance. Jackson built a modern school in Kibwezi with a fully equipped science laboratory. On the wall of the chemistry lab, he hung his original torn textbook, the one he had found at the market as a 12-year-old boy. Beside it was a plaque that read, "Dreams are not limited by circumstances. They are only limited by the courage to pursue them." His sister Mary, inspired by Jackson's journey, became a doctor and now runs a rural health clinic funded by Jackson's foundation. His parents, Samuel and Grace, still live in Kibwezi, but now in a beautiful home with solar power and running water, technologies Jackson incorporated using his engineering knowledge. When young people visit Jackson seeking advice, he always tells them the same thing. Education is never wasted, but it's not just about getting a job. It's about developing your mind to see opportunities where others see obstacles. He shares 3 key lessons from his journey. First, never let circumstances define your potential. Jackson grew up in poverty, but he never let poverty grow up in his mind. He studied by candlelight not because he enjoyed the romantic ambiance, but because he refused to let darkness win. Second, embrace Plan B with the same passion as Plan A. Jackson's trading career wasn't a failure of his engineering dreams. It was preparation for a bigger success that combined both skills. Third, success is not just about personal achievement. It's about lifting others as you climb. Jackson's greatest pride isn't his wealth or recognition. It's the hundreds of students his foundation has helped and the communities his innovations have transformed. Today, Jackson splits his time between his agricultural technology company, his foundation work, and serving as an advisor to the Kenyan government on rural development policy. He has been recognized internationally for his contributions to sustainable agriculture and rural education. Jackson's story is not unique in its struggles. Millions of African children face similar challenges in accessing quality education. What makes his story special is his refusal to accept limitations, his willingness to adapt his dreams to reality, and his commitment to ensuring others don't face the same barriers he did. The torn chemistry textbook still hangs in his laboratory, now framed in gold. Sometimes, when facing difficult decisions, Jackson looks at it and remembers the 12-year-old boy who dared to dream beyond his circumstances. That boy's fire still burns, now multiplied in the hundreds of students the Grace and Samuel Foundation supports each year. In rural Kenya, children still walk long distances to school, still share textbooks, still dream of futures that seem impossible. But now they have something Jackson didn't have: proof that the journey from a village hut to international success is not only possible, but sustainable when it's built on the foundation of lifting others along the way. Jackson Mwangi's story reminds us that sometimes the greatest success comes not from avoiding Plan B, but from pursuing it with the same determination that originally fueled Plan A. In the end, it wasn't his engineering degree alone that created his success. It was his educated mind, his adaptive spirit, and his unwavering commitment to using his gifts in service of others. The fire within burns brightest when it lights the way for others to follow.